Let's get this started. Wait, it's not that kind of video. Nothing about my personal life. Let's get these shoes on. Today's video is all about the nitty-gritty about what I experience in 1 week while I'm teaching as the ALT, the Assistant Language Teacher. You know, how I make that big bucks? Yeah. So, let's get these car keys. About to head out. If you want to know more about how I actually do this, stay tuned. All right? How do I reach these kids? Hello world! Welcome back to Camcam's universe. I'm Camille Marks Kelly and thank you for watching this episode. Okay, let's start. First things first. In my rural town, I am the Assistant Language Teacher, ALT, for all 4 schools. That is 1 junior high school and 3 elementary schools. For the junior high school, I teach all 3 grades with students aged from 12 to 15 years old. At the elementary stage, I teach grades 3 to 6, and these students range about 9 to 12 years old. At the elementary schools, the students only have English when I am present. However, at the junior high schools, the students have English pretty much 4 to 5 days out of the week, whether I'm there or not, with the JTE, the Japanese Teacher of English. Okay? In this episode of Happily Trapped in Japan, I would only be talking about 1 week at the junior high school. The general ALT contract for JET staff has working hours from 8:30 to 4:15 p.m. However, due to some things with my predecessor, I actually have working hours of 8:15 to 4 o'clock. This works out pretty great for me, especially when I want to catch somewhere that closes at 4:30 or 5. Nothing's actually open before 8:30 anyways. My current weekly schedule has me at the junior high school on Mondays and Tuesdays, while Wednesday to Friday is shared with the 3 elementary schools. As such, each elementary only sees me once per week. Point of information: this is not standard. For bigger communities, some ALTs have 5 to 10 elementaries that they are in charge of. And especially with Corona, where there are less ALTs present, several ALTs had to get additional schools. However, I'm assigned to 1 town, so I get all the schools in my town from day 1. In the case of those with multiple schools that range into the numbers of 5 and 10s, they would see their schools probably like once every 2 weeks or once every month. Anyways, we all have our base schools. Usually, it's a junior high school, as this school has someone who speaks English, and in a sense, among all the schools, it's the senior-most school. As your base school, this is where you get all your documents, your schedules, and your pay slips. This is also where you will sign up for day leave, called Nenkyu. And this school is generally where you would attend non-English class activities such as entrance and opening ceremony, as well as sports day, and sometimes if you're lucky, some festivals for the school. The other schools, in this case the elementaries, are referred to as your visit schools. Point of information: in your first month, you will clearly feel the difference. After that very first week, where everyone tells you where everything is and how things are done, the teachers at your base school will pretty much leave you to fend for yourself. However, those at your visiting school would actually treat you like an honored guest for at least the very first month, and in some cases, the entire semester. They'll do things like give you a spork instead of chopsticks, ease you into it. They'll offer you coffee or tea in the morning to kind of like just make you comfortable. And occasionally, you'll get pieces of chocolate. Yeah, going to a visit school has its perks. All right, so it's a beautiful Monday morning. Let's start this week. Let's go out there and be important. It's Monday morning. You change your shoes in the Camcam, as you do with every single school and pretty much most very Japanese places. The start of a new week. As you enter the staff room, you greet everyone with a loud "Ohayo gozaimasu." Remember the bow. Then you click your name on the computer to say that you have arrived at work at X time. You head over to your desk and there is at least 2 documents. Pre-corona time, you would actually see a little snack from whichever teacher had went out last week doing some kind of traveling, whether for meetings, personal, or whatsoever. But corona times, nobody's going anywhere. The 2 basic documents are the activity schedule for the week and the class schedule for the week. The activity schedule tells any event that may happen at the school that week. It's in 2 columns. The student information is on the left, where it tells you whether they'll have club meetings, whether they have some kind of school event, whether they have health checks and measurements, whether they have a national test. Whatever they have that week, it's there with each row representing a day. In column 2, you see what happens with the teachers. And here you see things like if somebody has to go to a meeting, if somebody has a health check, you see the nitty-gritty of why a teacher would not be at school. At the bottom, you will see a note for anything that happens on the weekend. Usually it's a club activity for sports or music that the school has representatives at. Point of information: if you have a government mandated health check, it could also be on this schedule, but usually it's noted on the class schedule. Document 2, the class schedule. You have your days broken into 6 periods at the top of the column. So each day, 6 periods. Then each row shows the classes, first year, first class, and then followed by the teachers' names per row. Hulu Sensei, Netflix Sensei, Kelly Sensei. For the intersecting box of a class and a period, you will see the subject that they have at that time. While for the teachers, where the box intersects, you can actually see it blocked out with some kanji written in it, telling you whether the teacher has a day leave or they're off-site at a meeting or a conference. But generally, what you see is the class that they will be at and the subject that they're in charge of. This is because the teacher may actually be assigned to a class at a specific period, but not to teach their actual subject. This is common with homeroom teachers, as well as sometimes your class gets an extra teacher to help monitor the class. In my experience, it has actually been the PE teacher, and that class was made up of lively students. So, that extra person was good. As the ALT, I would see the classes for all the English teachers in my row. In my case, I have 2 English teachers. So, this is the beginning of your day, and you at first had to observe these 2 pieces of paper. At this point, now you should ink on your register that is hidden in your desk to prove that you are at this school on this day. This document is actually sent to the Board of Education monthly. Other documents that may be on your desk, especially if it is the first or the end of the month, include the lunch menu for the month, the event schedule for the month, PTA notices and their month activity summary, the library summary for the month. how many books were borrowed, how many students borrowed books, things like that. But that's actually dependent on the librarian of your school. Also, you will get random notices from the Board of Education or the city. Actually, we used to get these documents a lot. And you will have them all pinned together, stapled onto a clipboard, and on top of it, there is a list with all the teachers' names. Once you have reviewed all the documents on the clipboard, you are expected to put a circle beside your name saying that you have checked it. After doing that, you pass on the clipboard with the multitude of papers to the next teacher whose name has not been circled. If you're the last, then you return the pile of documents to the secretary or to whoever has fancy kanji written beside their name instead of a circle. Usually this kanji means last or return to. Recently, we have implemented the local network system, and as such, teachers can see these random pieces of information on their computer at school. However, you, the ALT, we, the ALTs, are not a part of that system. Now, before you get comfy, look at the board behind the vice principal, Kyoto Sensei. Go, look. You are looking for a big B or C. The timing for each period per day follows one of three, A, B, or C. A is the standard timing and used pretty much all the time. B is usually 10 minutes earlier to give extra time between lunch and fifth period for some activity, usually something to do with the students or cleaning. And C is also starts earlier, but in C schedule there is no cleaning time, which means that you move right from lunch break into fifth period. C schedule usually have the students leaving school early that day. This extra time with no students for a long afternoon meeting. Or it is close to the end of the semester and teachers use this time to catch up on their reporting. Point of information: checking the daily time schedule is something you do every day for every school. There is also a large printout on the wall in the staff room that shows the timings for all three schedules. The exact timing for each schedule is specific to the school though. No one is expected to memorize this information. So even though you may understand why they use a B or C schedule that day based on current affairs in the school, you, the ALT, cannot predict it, and neither can most of the teachers. Don't worry about it. Just today at 10 a.m. in the morning, they said that they had to switch schedule because rain was falling and it would affect a planned exercise to be done that day at 10:30. Just like that, my afternoon class was now at 10:30 a.m. Another day in Japan, keeping me on my toes. Alright, back to the staff room. 10 minutes before the start of the first period, the bell rings. During this time, the staff room is visited by one student from every class. These students are actually responsible for the class register. Now, they come to the staff room to make a note on a big blackboard in the staff room about which students are absent and how many students are absent. When they arrive at the door, they have a mini script that every student who comes to the staff room must say. Don't worry, I'll translate for you. Excuse me, sorry for disturbing. My name is Midoriya Izuku. I am from class 1A. I have come to Nantoka. In this case, to update the attendance information. Any teacher will then say, "Hi." Yes. And the student enters, updates the information, and on their way out they say, "Sorry for disturbing." All of that is in Japanese, so it's pretty fluid for everybody else. Alrighty. The teacher in charge of making the schedule, scheduling sensei, tries to always leave the first period on Monday free for all English teachers because I am, in a sense, a visiting teacher. We use this time to have a mini meeting. Firstly, we decide which classes I attend in each period, especially if there is an overlap with classes for both English teachers. On average, I have 4 to 5 lessons per day out of the 6. The meeting may continue into what the teachers want you to do for the classes you would have to attend that week, but this is really dependent on your English teacher. I personally had one teacher who just left a post-it on my desk with what she wanted me to do. Yeah, communication, clearly her top skill. The meeting is usually super short, as you are expected to use this time to prep for classes. You can use this time to do random type of preps, not just for the junior high, but also for the elementary. There's no limit as to how you use your time once it is effective and for work. You can make informational items for your English board, you can research on the next topic, you can prep English games or quizzes to cement previous topics or a general review. You can mark assignments. But remember, each period at the junior high school is just 50 minutes. It's not a lot of time. And you also have to review what will be done in class that day. Point of information: it would benefit you to practice pronouncing new words for that lesson. The past tense of read is read, but they are spelled the same way. Be careful. Also, review the grammar so you are ready to point things out, as well as get in the English mindset. There are things that as a native English speaker you never thought about, but you would need to point out. Like, it's 2:07, not 2:07 p.m. Okay? And finally, be prepared for your JTE expecting the very best. All of a sudden, they think it's the perfect time for a random teaching moment. They write some English words on the board and say the dreaded words. Repeat after Kelly Sensei. Though, through, thorough. Nailed it. Periods 2 to 4 vary according to your teacher, the grade, the time of the school year, the lesson plan, and if the students really grind the JTE's gears that day. Children are children, no matter which part of the world you are in. Nevertheless, you start the class off with the basics. Hello everyone. Good morning. How are you? What day is it? What's today's date? How's the weather? Look outside. What time is it? Good. Thank you. And you end the class with, see you. On average, you will always do the following. Pronounce words, read sentences with the proper intonation and pace for student practice, assist the students with class activities, keep the unfocused kids from distracting others, help the slower learners, partner with one student for conversation practice, which should be done in pairs, model conversation with the teacher. But you will also have days where you run review games at the start of the class, or you have an entire class to run review games. But that's pretty rare, usually at the beginning or the bitter end of the semester. Or you present the grammar point in a nice, interesting way to make it more engaging for the students. For example, which anime has the most episodes? That's right, One Piece. In some cool cases, if the class is moving with a good speed, you will also have seasonal cultural presentations. Things about Christmas, things about Halloween, things about summer vacation in Nantucket countries. The junior high school is where the kids really buckle down to grammar. As such, the more fun activities usually is limited to the first years and the second years, because the third years are getting ready for exams. No time for fun. However, at period 4, Your students come to class with a basket containing their color-coded aprons for lunchtime. It's colored differently for each grade. At 12:30 p.m., period 4 ends and lunchtime begins. The students who are assigned serving duty that day will put on their cute little aprons and headbands and head out to the sinks to wash their hands. After they have cleaned up, they line up with the class leader and head out to the lunch receiving bay. Point of information: our community is pretty small, so food is provided via the Kyushiku Center. Without fail, Monday to Friday, lunch is trucked to all 4 schools in my community, and every school eats the exact same lunch that day. So I'm heading to the staff room from my class. I pass the students getting their hands sanitized with disinfectant just before they collect their food for their class. They all greet me in a mixture of English and Japanese. Konnichiwa, hello, good afternoon, konnichiwa, hi Kelly, all of those variations. My lunch is already served and set aside with all the other lunches for teachers who eat in the staff room. Our lunches are served by the groundskeeper and the school supporter. They are assigned to lunch management and they work under the school nurse. By the time I enter the staff room, however, they are not there as they are all supervising the students who are collecting their lunch. So lunchtime started at 12:30. Took a little while to get to the staff room, but you need to finish eating your entire lunch by 1. Yeah. Challenge accepted. Anyways, if you're allergic to something, you should have made mention of it before so that it is not in your plate. Remember, you got that entire schedule for the lunch menu for the whole month. So you should have read it, even though it's in Japanese, and found anything that you may be allergic to or have a serious distaste to. Natto. If you know, then you know. Anyways, the goal is to empty your plate. Whichever way you do it is fine because you're actually in the staff room. It's a different case when you have to eat with the student. You return the empty plate back to where you got the other plates and you stack it with all the other plates that were there. It's dirty, but it's empty. This is because all the plates are sent back to the Kyushiku Center where they're power washed and the whole cycle is repeated again the following day. It's 1 p.m. now and the school supporter is leaving with the staff room with all the plates and containers. Lunchtime is over. You hear and see all the students returning their containers too. Now you have break time, break time. Yeah, from 1 to 1:40. It is a free 40-minute period to do what you like. Honestly, I'm pretty sure this is where most anime characters get bullied. The reality is, the students actually eat lunch with the teachers that are assigned to their class. So break time is actually the only time the students are left unattended. Yeah, this whole time the teachers are with them. Alright. At break time though, the staff room gets really lively. All the teachers return, everybody's brushing their teeth. It's a full thing. They're laughing, they're talking, they're making jokes about random things that you won't understand, but you actually appreciate all the fun and laughter because the whole morning was pretty serious. And at this time, the students actually come to the staff room requesting to borrow soccer balls or other things so that they can play freely in the field. Yeah, it's a lively time at school. And then it's 1:40. Bell rings. It is time to clean. Students change into their PE uniform and head out to their assigned areas. Some students have to come to the staff room to request the keys for the rooms that they have been assigned to. And some students are assigned to actually clean the staff room. And just like before, they come to the door and tell that whole story about who they are and their purpose in life and why they're there. Personally, I stay in the staff room. In the past, I used to assist the students who clean the staff room, but the then vice principal and secretary who were also in the staff room were very supervisory in nature. And as such, I think that's why the students used to re-clean the area I cleaned, as well as gently nudged me out of the way. So yeah, 2 vice principals later and a new secretary, I still don't clean in my junior high. At the end of cleaning, the students report to the vice principal to say that they're finished with the area and they're out by 1:55 p.m. to prep for the next class at period 5. They have 10 minutes. Change clothes, get books, head to class. Periods 5 and 6 are pretty much the same as periods 2 to 4. On an A schedule, classes end at 3:55 p.m. By 4:01, I am on my way out of that school. Logging out of the electronic register, I turn and face everyone in the staff room with a tiny little bow and go, Oscar Samadeshta, and head out. Switching my shoes in the Camcam, and finally, Monday is over. Tuesdays are pretty much the same, without the early morning documents on your desk, and also there is no mini meeting. However, once in a while, my week schedule gets twisty, and I will be assigned to the junior high school on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. These drastic changes usually occur because some event is keeping at the elementary school, which cancelled all English classes or all classes for that day, such as an opening ceremony, a school excursion, or nationwide testing. Point of information, regardless of which school I'm at, on Wednesdays, students generally do not have a 6th period. A 30 to 45 minute staff meeting is sometimes held in this period, but not all the time. So it's time to head out to school. It's 7:50. I need to be at school at 8:15. It's a 7-minute commute, but it's Friday and there's a meeting at 8:10. So you want to be there before the meeting. There's no point in disturbing that. And in Japan, being on time means that you're there 10 minutes early anyways. So let's do as the Romans do. Wait, no. Let's do as the Japanese do. All right, let's go to school. On Fridays, teachers have a 10-minute staff meeting starting at 8:10 a.m. It is super short and efficient. And in the almost 2 years that I've been here, only once has a teacher ever been late. All right, Monday was a long day, but the rest of the week flies by in an instant. Actually, the junior high school is quite boring in comparison to the elementary schools, but that's another video. Make sure you subscribe so you'll know when I make it, okay? Let's sum up. While I said this is just my basic work week, focusing on the junior high school, please take note. My schools are within a 30-minute walk from my house. Moreover, every single store, restaurant, and the one train station in my town is within that radius. To be clear, every child I see in my community is my current student or soon-to-be student. Moreover, all the adults are somehow related to my kids. In short, I am always Kelly Sensei. While I subscribe to the belief that I have nothing to hide, you may believe you have nothing you want them to see. Moreover, you will generally be the only foreigner in your community, which can benefit you and annoy you in the same situation. I actually went to my community gym to try out weightlifting. And when I was working out the cost with the receptionist, I realized that you're charged based on proximity. I tried to explain to him where I actually lived, but he wasn't really understanding and decided that I should just select the highest cost. My students then came out of their kudo practice, which is also kept at the community gym, and then proceeded to explain that I was their teacher and where exactly I lived. I ended up qualifying for the cheapest rate. On the other hand, when I went to school the very next day, every student knew that I went to the gym. And some brave teachers even decided to ask me if it was true. Hi, so desu. Training gym, Kelly Sensei. is you are the center of their international experience. What they see on TV or heard about, they will try and test on you. But you are no guinea pig. Make your boundaries clear and observe their boundaries too. Hugging and random touches are not a thing, no matter how appropriate you think it is. Don't do it and don't let them do it to you, whether you're at school or not. Also, don't feel too bad when your teenage students ride their bicycles into a rice field to get away from you. You are a nice person, but you are associated with a school subject that frankly most of them are not very good at. That's it. Oscar Samadeshta. We've worked hard. I hope you liked this video and learned a little more about the world we live in. Like, comment, share, and subscribe.